Welcome to Heal Talk Tuesdays with Liza, where transformation begins as we evoke, embrace, and evolve. Greetings, and welcome to Heal Talk Tuesdays with Liza. It's so good to be here with you, isn't it? Today we're diving into a topic that lights up headlines and hearts, and with a mix of pain, passion, and complexity. So today's conversation or my talk may be a little bit of a controversial thing, and yet it's something that we're all talking about it, and I want to hear from you. Yes, I want to hear what your opinion is. So if you haven't heard about this, the UK Supreme Court just had a ruling on the legal definition of what is a woman. um, Here in the United States, we're witnessing emotional debates, especially in the world of sports. So as I was reading this, I had all these feelings come up. And thinking about the Supreme Court, majority men making a decision of what is the definition of a woman. You know, where I come from, the Middle East, is having such a turmoil about everything that is happening. That's why a few years ago we started this woman love acceptance, and we had this rally, especially women who were imprisoned in Iran. And being from Iran and everything that is happening in Middle East, it is, I can say, women have been suppressed, women have been devalued, and yet there are so many powerful, intelligent, intellectual leaders in women in our countries. So let's take the case of Riley Gaines. A month and a half ago, I was at a conference, and Riley Gaines is a decorated female swimmer who lost her medal to a transgender athlete. Actually, what happened was they were noticing this one person that suddenly came to all the meets and started winning. And she's an Olympian. So all the other Olympians were looking to see, how is this possible? Where did this one person come in? And they were competing and competing, no matter how hard they tried or they swam. I mean, it got to a point that even few seconds to a minute, and this person would win with a full length, until they realized that their competitor was a transgender. Okay, bear with me. She gets on, and you can check it, because it felt like a moment where fairness was sacrificed for a political correctness, or for a propaganda. Why? Because at the last meet, in the Olympics, in her swimming, she comes hair to air, and within milliseconds, they match. They match. So they're supposed to be on the podium to get the gold medal. And right before she steps up to get the gold medal, she says, okay, so I get the gold medal. She gets the gold medal. The last moment, as she's supposed to step up to the podium, they ask her, please step down. I am sorry, but we have to make sure that this person wins. And Riley has since become a strong voice speaking out about this, about fairness to women. And then checking out the news, and I see this thing about what is the definition of a womanhood in the Supreme Court. You know, here's the deeper layer. by all means, you can make a suggestion, you can call me, let's talk about this. I want to hear your opinion. Behind every medal, behind every ruling, behind every protest are real people navigating every trial of emotions. Because no matter what sex, no matter what we choose, I think bottom line, we're human. And today's conversation is talking about the humanity of who we are. Okay? Riley, grieving what felt like that stolen moment. And today she's talking about it. She's going to speak at different podiums in colleges, universities. And also, I want to say, even the transgender athlete facing hatred, bullying, in being reduced to a headline instead of a human being. Propaganda, putting her in that position with all the hatred that comes towards her. And I'm saying her because I think she's chosen to compete in the women's. That's why she's a her, even though biologically she's not a she. Okay, I'm confused, let alone our children in the schools. So, and you, perhaps reading or seeing this message, sitting with confusion, sadness, anger, hatred, or deep empathy, wondering where your voice fits in all this. Perhaps you have a child that feels confused, wants to shift, feels different. You know, I have family members who are gay, and I've known that since I was a kid. Since I was a little girl, I knew that he was different. And until he came out. By all means, one of the most intelligent, intellectual, driven, what can I say, smart professors I know within my family members. But this is beyond that, because there is a stigma about that. There is a stigma nowadays being heterosexual, a transgender, X, Y, Z, G. I do not understand. I choose to look at every one of us as a human being. Because it's not about sports. It's not about identity. It's about how we value each other and how we are accepted in the society. Okay? And it's about the stories we carry, especially as women, being seen, being heard, and being valued. We are having a hard time just being who we are, let alone competing with someone that comes and says, I am one of you, that was not born as one of us. Did you go through every month through the menstrual cycle? Did you have cramps? Did you literally, like someone I know, another friend of mine that used to dig the floor because of the pains every month, going through child labor? I cannot say, can you conceive a child, because not everyone can conceive a child. But to be able to bear a child, I think there is biological ways of saying who's a woman and who is not. Okay? And this is where the headlines begin. And that's where healing can also start. So I know you're already thinking, where is this coming from, Liza? Because I've got clients that they bring their children who are confused. And some of those teenagers that are confused is because of their friends who tell them this is what you ought to feel. This is what you ought to be. So they're confused. Families are confused. Parents are confused. And if you feel silenced, unseen, or overwhelmed by the noise of everything that is happening, and I think it's mostly in the cosmopolitan places, I want to say I'm here for you. Because just last month, I was dealing with a parent who was going through anxiety because of not knowing how to help her son. And when the son came over here, going through panic and anxiety, almost suicidal, because he was being bullied for being feminine, and yet he does not want to change his gender. He's just confused. So again, because the truth is our voices and your voice and his voice and her voice truly matters. Our emotions matter. And you can hold space for your truth while you still have compassion for each and every one. During our work, I realized he is sensitive. He is compassionate. He's very caring and kind and very loving. It's just that the 16-year-old has not understood what being a man is because he hasn't reached his manhood. And that's where the confusion is. Just because he is a little bit more feminine and caring and kind does not mean you have to label him a her or say you must be transgender because you are sensitive. And that was where his confusion was. And he was being bullied on that. And then having men decide what is a woman all the way to the Supreme Court. You know, I think we as women have a battle with the Me Too movement and where it started. It's not to say rah, rah, rah against men, but it's for us to stand up for who we are so that we can show up with our strength, with our stamina, with full compassion for humanity, for our family. And I know times have changed. Women work. Some of them, most of us, run businesses. It doesn't matter if it's a small business, large business. We go through a lot of abuse, and so many are silenced because they can't speak out for the fears. And yes, I may be talking to you. I know what it feels like. And abuse is not always hitting. But when you are hurting inside, when your physical body starts breaking down, believe it or not, you have been physically hurt. So that's one of the definitions of being a woman. It starts, I don't know, that's one of the things, that's what I was talking about. Why are we having gender identity before the baby is born? What's the difference? Why do you do blue and pink that afterwards you're going to do rainbow? Because of who we are. And believe it or not, I don't know the solution to the transgender competing in the athletes, but what he feels, that must be a lot. because not everyone accepts it, not everyone appreciates it, and yet with that small little percentage here, either in California or other cosmopolitan places, so many others have to go through hurt, and after so many years of competing, doing their best to make the team or stand at the podium and be told, get off the podium. Because today we have to honor someone else. You see, if you're struggling with your own identity, or you have someone else in your family, within your friends, with this emotional pain and feeling dismissed in today's world, I invite you to connect with me. Because when I work with my clients, I work with who they are, physically, mentally, emotionally, not the labels that either we have to accept because of propaganda or peer pressure or a counselor from school or anywhere has told us, but who we are and what we feel. No one can feel for you. No one can step in your shoes. No one can understand what you go through each and every night behind closed doors, especially when you close the door and you want to go to sleep and you can't sleep. You're dreading what the morning will bring. You're dreading what's the next call or what's going to happen tomorrow. That's who I help. Someone asked me, how do I face the world when no one even asks me how I feel? We face the world one day at a time. Trust your gut. Honor yourself. Because if you pay attention to the peers and other people, you're going to go into your own negative talk, self-regret, and then you're going to be upset with yourself, not for standing up for who you are. And believe it or not, there's people like me who are here to listen, to support you, to stand by you. So if this is you, if this message makes an impact or something that resonates with you, by all means, get in touch with me. I do offer free 15-minute consultation, and you can reach me at lizaboubari.com, or you can even text HEAL to 818-221-2797. I'm always here to respond to your texts, messages, and calls. So, be proud of who you are. Man, woman, human being. That's all I have to say today. And the next time when a Supreme Court makes a decision, I would like more women to stand up and say, I am a woman and I matter. Goodbye. God bless you, and may the universal light surround you until next week. Bye-bye. And if you like this, share it, subscribe, and go to YouTube, and you'll see the rest of all my podcasts.